Good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday, December 30th, 2025 Public Works Committee meeting. Now it's time for a roll call and determination of quorum.
Meyer, Pettigrew, Roberts,
Here.
Maher, Bieberdorf. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Now it's time for the adoption of the agenda. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Now it's time for general public comment. This is a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda, except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. I don't see anybody jumping up and down for general public comment, so I will open and close it. And we'll move on to consent items, items 1 through 14. Oh, wait a minute. Your general public comment?
I don't know, I didn't follow the paperwork. Did it not get to you?
It did, but
Oh, yeah, I just want to talk general public comment.
on no specific item?
I got a public service announcement that I just
Why don't
picked
you
up
get
from
up
the
to
South
the-
Dakota Department of Labor. And, I had a question about the conversation we had this weekend.
Go ahead and get up to the dais. Tell us who you are and
How you doing? I'm Mark Millar. Most of you might know me. On a public service announcement, I know this is more suited for tomorrow's meeting, but I just heard this from the Department of Labor. And as the city continues to move forward with every economic excuse to give money away, and specifically in the names of jobs, there's a pallet building company in town today offering $17.50 an hour to train you to become a full-time position for anybody that might be looking for work. I think that's better than what a lot of people make at the monument. Now on to my real question. So we were talking about the Liberty Land TIF, or structure of utilities. And I know that I called it a gated community once, and that's been denied. And as we were talking, afterwards I got to thinking, it seems to be structured more like the old trailer courts, right? Where they're gonna hold the utilities inside of their property lines or whatever forever. The maintenance and the ownership, would that be correct? Is that what it's structured like? And I guess my next question is that the way we're structuring the new trailer courts that I see being built in town in certain areas? Because hasn't that, everybody fallen under one water meter and whatnot? Hasn't that been an issue for both the city and the tenants in the past? And where the city has inevitably lost money? Where would I go to find out about the intricacies? I'm not a lay person. I'm a contractor. I've been reading blueprints and spec books and plans for a long time. I guess I'm trying to get the best answer on exactly how this Liberty Land utilities not owned by the city is being structured, and if that's being used in other places. Thank you.
well, that was an interesting question. Vicki, do you want to answer some of that? Because I think it's being a little vague. I mean, Mark and I had a conversation last weekend about infrastructure and whether it was city infrastructure or whether it was their infrastructure. And I tried to kind of make this look like Rushmore Crossing. So once those utilities go into that private property, it becomes their utilities. And if it's in a street or, but anyway, you can maybe explain that a little bit better.
Well, let me clarify, John, I'm sorry. You had stated basically that where those utilities were gonna go from private property to city property would be relatively the front gate. Now, I know that the streets that go through Rushmore Crossing are where the utilities lie, the main utilities lie, and doesn't the city own those? And I understand where private utilities start at the lot line. I've been a contractor all my life.
I know that. You worked for me a few times, Mark, if you remember.
I do remember.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, for a point of clarification, those utilities and streets that are inclusive in the TIF are public improvements. They will be installed in part by the city, in part by the developer. They will be owned by the city. When they get to that point where they actually start laying out individual lots and other design elements, which they have not yet done for the Liberty Land project, it will either have direct service from that public right-of-way to that end user, or we could look at working with them to create public utility easements where if we need a main to go through the property, we might not need the street, but we still need that main. And that will be worked out as we do with all projects. We have several. Rushmore Crossing is a good example of a blend of part public, part private. There are other projects along East Mall Drive that also are part public and part private. It just depends upon how it's being served at the end of it. When we look at those multifamily projects like Mobile Home Park, where we have that master meter at the lot line, and then the owner of the park then provides the services to the individual users, those work out quite well when they're installed correctly and it's billed correctly, and if the owner also is responsible and pays that bill. So that's worked well and true for the city, and we would anticipate using one of those formats with this project as well.
I think why there's some confusion in this is because there's going to be private parking throughout the whole thing, and there's also going to be some private streets that come through there. But those private streets that do have utilities will have utility easements and access to them. So even though it may be their own infrastructure, the city will always have access to that if it's an emergency or, whatever.
Absolutely, and that's what we do with similar projects throughout the city where we've got mixed-use commercial development on either a large lot or a combination of lots that's owned under one entity. It's a mesh, but at the end of the day, the infrastructure design criteria manual sets out what must be public, what must be private, and of course what we're looking at is that ensuring that if it's something that should be at the long-term maintenance of the property owner, the taxpayers aren't taking on that responsibility, so that in 30 years, let's say, if a main should break, who's responsible for it? But at all points, whether it's private or public, access has to be secured, because you said it, in cases of an emergency, when we've got to shut that system down, we need to have access to it.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the public, or we'll close public comment, and we'll move on to items the consent calendar, items 1 through 14. If I have anybody that would like to pull anything, let me know. If not, I'll look for a motion. We have a motion to approve 1 through 14. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. That's the end of the consent calendar. We'll move to the non-consent items. Items 15. I will open public comment. Nobody jumping. I will close public comment. We'll move on to Public Works. Item 15, PW 123025-14. Request by Advanced Design Engineering and Surveying, Inc., on behalf of Christopher Ham for a variance to waive the requirements to install sidewalk along Sheridan Lake Road as required per 12.08.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. The applicant has asked to have this moved to the next Public Works meeting. If I could get a motion for that.
15?
Yes, for item 15.
I'll make a motion to move it to the next
Go ahead, Vicky.
They had requested to move that to the January 27th Public
Oh,
Works.
sorry,
meeting.
I thought it was the next one. Okay, January 27th?
Yep, that's correct.
change the motion to be, move it to January 27th.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Any alderman items? Anybody want to discuss anything? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All opposed? Wow, the motion passed.